Hey everyone, your host Nick here, and you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. First, I want to remind you that we are a fully independent podcast, quite literally just a group of friends who have met once a week since 2008 to talk about video games. If you like our show, the best thing you can do for us is be active in our community. I recommend Discord. You can subscribe to our show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service, or, if you're so inclined, bless us with your patronage on Patreon or Twitch. If you're new, all you need to know is this. We record these shows live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch, and the audio version launches on all podcast services on Friday morning. Patreon and Twitch supporters will even get the show a day early on Thursdays. But if you want to know more about any of this, about what we do, or find all the important links you need, simply visit us at 4playernetwork.com. And that's it. This is the only ad you'll ever hear on this show. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Let's get started. Alright, hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode... Chris David, what's the episode?
815.
815. It's November 12th, 2024. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined by Bradley Simons.
Jets, airplanes, jet airplanes. Whoa.
Who has a lot more energy tonight than I'm used to. I'm still getting used to it.
Really?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
Welcome back to the show. We didn't do one last week, so it's been a couple weeks, but that gave us more time to play Dragon Age and Castlevania, or not Castlevania, Vampire Survivors. A lot. I'm the only person here tonight who has not played a fuck ton of Vampire Survivors. Apparently. Oh, is that what it's called?
We'll educate you on
is that what the DLC is actually called?
It's Vampire Survivors 2, yeah. Vampire Survivors 2. They put a sequel in the DLC, pretty much, basically.
That's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna play a little bit of catch up tonight. We are gonna talk Dragon Age, the Veilguard. We're gonna talk Vampire Survivors, among a few other things. Is there anything? Anything we want to?
I mean, we have our first
dive right in. We have our first what?
We're here to talk about video games. I don't know. Did you see a movie? Who gives that shit?
Wait. Actually, sorry. I didn't mean to. I apologize. I know I set you up, and then I made you stop. Just want to remind everybody that we record these live. I know we didn't do one last week, but we normally record these live on Tuesday nights over on Twitch and YouTube. Chris Davis, we successfully on YouTube now? Okay.
Yes.
We were having some technical difficulties earlier. We were only on one or the other. Now it's fixed. But anyways, yeah, we record these 8 p.m. Tuesday nights, and we usually start with Trailer Talk Live. We watch some trailers. Anything cool in the Trailer Talk Live? We just watched that we want to chat more about.
No.
No. Everything's looking pretty lame.
That new Civilization game looks wild.
Okay, I'm not saying Civilization's bad, but I don't believe you, Crispy. I don't think that's...
Dude, you have no idea.
That's such an unhinged
I love
comment.
Civilization.
Civilization's great.
I'm not saying Civilization is bad.
I'm not, but I just feel like he's trying to, be
You're
crispy.
saying you don't understand how people could be excited about a video of Civilization.
No,
that's really what you're saying.
Well, you're in the business of putting words in my mouth tonight because you also tried to...
I'm trying to fix the words that came out of your mouth.
He also tried to assassinate me because I didn't want to play Lego Horizon. Apparently, that means I think Lego games are terrible and not funny.
I would expect you to play it, but so dismissive of it. I mean, you love Horizon.
I'm not dismissive of it.
It's infantilizing Horizon, Brad.
I don't prioritize it because
it's like actually like, I don't know. Like, those games are clever. Like, the humor's smart. I don't know.
I mean, but here's the thing. I never said they weren't. In fact, I even said I like Horizon and I like the Lego movie. I just have really no interest in playing the game. That's not to say it's bad, but man, you gotta we're at the point now where you gotta start making hard decisions. Well, we're well past the point, right? This is like just the industry that we now are left with, which is 100 games coming out every month, and you gotta somehow find time to play the ones that mean the most to you, I guess. So
I'm clicking dicks, man. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Look, man, can we talk about Dragon Age?
Yeah. We could talk about Dragon Age.
clicking all the wrong things.
Brad's getting trigger happy with as a moderator.
No, I'm just clicking the wrong things. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Or you want to talk about Castlevania, man? There's a new Castlevania game out.
No, I really don't. I want to.
But look, man. It's been so long. Literally been a decade since the Dragon Age game came out.
Yes,
and
I
like
skipped
the
one.
last actual Castlevania game worth of shit. Longer, right?
Yes,
Longer.
yes. This week. This week is Brad's week. It's the week he's been waiting for. There's a new Dragon Age game, and there might as well be a new Castlevania.
Well, they came out last week, but don't call last week Brad's week. I don't want.
No, yeah. I mean, nobody really wants to be associated with last week.
It is a little crazy because I talked about this weeks ago that like I took a week off of work for just childcare reasons or whatever, right?
Right.
Just because I needed to be off work, and it's so crazy that this stuff came out right around that time, and so yeah, that's what I did, because my kids go to
the childcare. I've been playing Dragon.
Well, I was at home for like childcare, but like my kids still go to school / preschool. We just had to have someone like take them there or whatever. I guess Griff doesn't go every day, but I just had to be there to get them to where they needed to go and home from school and stuff.
Right.
I was at home, and so I played a lot of Dragon Age. I played a lot of Castlevania. Well, I guess we'll talk about Castlevania later, but it is.
Yeah, let's start with Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Okay. I'll tell you this: more people played Vampire Survivors than probably all Dragon Age games combined.
I mean, that might be true, but
I'm rolling Dragon Age footage. Just fucking go.
All right, Dragon Age. It's just crazy, right? Because I played so much Dragon Age in the past week, but the week before that, I played so much Castlevania. I am over 40 hours on both of these games.
That is crazy.
That's a lot for you.
That is so impressive to me, Brad, because even when I took a week off and I don't have kids, I was happy with like, okay, I made about 15 hours of progress in one game. Like that was
like fucking
no,
Castle
don't say it. Don't say it. That is not actually true. I do find myself going to bed a lot earlier than I used to because I'm getting old. But hey,
I still went to bed at reasonable times sometimes.
Hey, look.
I'll say this. Both games are kind of addictive.
Yeah.
Both games are kind of addictive. Can we talk about Dragon Age? The new God of War game dropped. It wants its video game back or something.
So real quick, I just want to like. It's funny that you say that because like Dragon Age is such a weird series. Just like when I try to like think about it in retrospect. One, I skipped Inquisition because I bounced off it pretty hard. Like I spent like 10 hours in the hinterlands.
A lot of people didn't finish that Inquisition. But you know who did? This motherfucker. Can I briefly say that I'm a big Dragon Age fan?
We know this.
Big Dragon Age fan. Played that Dragon Age game back in 2009. It was my game of the year over Uncharted 2 and Bayonetta. Crazy, right? Crazy.
I mean, you are a Grey Warden. I like to bring that up every time we talk about Dragon Age.
I'm a Grey Warden. Every Dragon Age game has made my top 10 list. I will say Dragon Age Inquisition was... I went back and listened to that video from 10 years ago, and it was my number 10, and I was just like basically saying, fuck this game. How dare it make it onto my list, basically.
But you love Dragon Age. So...
Dragon Age. I love Dragon Age. I mean, that's really at the end of the day... You're a mage? This is Nick footage?
Yeah. This is Nick footage.
Oh, I heard the mage is just like playing that fucking Harry Potter game from last year.
That's funny.
That's what I heard.
Before you move on from that statement, I'm like specializing in, now that I've specialized in the skill tree, I picked the specialization that switches between magic and like blade handling and stuff, so I have more abilities now that are kind of melee focused. But yeah,
let me tell you, the reason you have abilities that are melee focused is because where do we start, man? Inquisition was a game I had lots of issues with, but I also like read all the Dragon Age books, and I'm just really into the lore. So anytime, which it's not common for me, right? I'm not even into the lore. I like the characters and shit, but then there's like characters from the books in these games, and like about a half decade ago, a Dragon Age book called Tevinter Nights came out, which is actually a collection of like short stories in the Dragon Age universe. Like there are there's characters in those stories that are like main characters in this game, and I I had started that like a couple months ago, but then I just got like, who has the time to fucking read or anything? But as I started playing the game, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's that dude. Like that's that dude. So like it kind of got me excited, and I started reading the book again. Like fucking Emmerich and shit. There's like all like Lucanus, like characters from the game are like featured in these stories, and it's actually kind of cool. Like I've read all the Dragon Age books, and this is like the first one where I feel like, whoa, they're like this seems
they're all kind of tying it
really,
together,
like related to the stuff I was playing in the game.
Where they're not relying solely on like stuff that was covered in previous games. They're reaching outside of, that the web of influence has spread a bit to like other media, like books and which maybe that's
they're
not
always
entirely
all their own stories. I mean, I still think that some of my favorite Dragon Age stories are from some of those first few books, honestly. But
right.
I mean, nature of books, I guess, and video games
real
are hard.
Quick, there was a thought that I want before you go too far into this, because I just want going into this kind of like my frame of mind, being someone who basically bounced really hard off of Inquisition, but I played Dragon Age 1 and 2 and really liked them. But I've played enough of Inquisition to kind of like now look at them all together as like a group of games, right? And it's such a strange series to look at, because every single game, like the series in general doesn't have a kind of a predictable flow of like the gameplay changes dramatically, the visual style changes dramatically from one game to the next.
Yeah, I mean,
and they all feel
but
like
it's it's still like say those 3 like Prince of Persia games or something from like the PS2 era versus like then a decade later, and now they put out the fucking that Prince of Persia with the
Lost
fucking,
Crown.
No. How do I say this? Like
Prince
those
games,
those first 3 games are all closer together than all of those games are to this one, I believe. Now, because what they made is they didn't make a party-based role-playing game. This is not a party-based role-playing game. This is a kind of like a Mass Effect but even like more of an action game than even Mass Effect.
It's a character action game where you pick your
don't even have health bars. They don't even have health bars. They're basically, we'll get this out of the way. The
basically spells.
Here is they're spells with cooldowns. Like this game is they're like Atreus from God of War. This game is they're like a button. This game is very God of War. Very, very like modern God of War. And it's crazy the influence. And it kind of tracks because 2018, the God of War came out. It was kind of a big deal. Dragon Age were probably like floundering a little bit at Bioware. They had made a real-time game because this was probably originally going to be multiplayer or whatever the fuck. Or they made like just a straight up action-y combat system, right? Like even Inquisition, you were hitting buttons and swinging swords, but it was still like kind of like a hack of again the controller experience from the original game Origins, right? Like that's the crazy thing is like when Origins came out, it was 2 very different gameplay experiences. It was the PC experience, which is like traditional CRPG, click your characters, real time with pause, like classic Baldur's Gate, but with a tactics menu. And then if you played on the 360, you were kind of like over the shoulder, like really, you really had to rely on those tactics menu because you were mostly just controlling your own character, but you could swap and stuff. Anyways, and like those 3 games were kind of a natural evolution of that controller experience. They were trying to speed it up, but it was always kind of like janky and hacked together. It's like not the way to do it. They needed to like from the ground up make something that was completely different, and I guess that's what that is. But it really did lose a lot of its RPG-ness in the process, and it now is something that after about 50 hours. I'm really comfy with. I think the game is really addictive. I think the combat is really fun, and I like the characters.
Also, can I just say too, kind of as a addendum to what everything you just said, is that another major component of this was kind of where Bioware as a studio stands, and like you said, they haven't made a Dragon Age game in like 10 years, and all the games they've kind of released in that time has made people lose a lot of faith. And then not to mention there's just the number of people creatives that have left the studio and now have been replaced with new
Or been
developers and
fired.
stuff. It's more or been fired. It is more or less a completely different studio. So everyone was kind of holding their
Yeah.
breath to wait and see what this Dragon Age is.
But
like.
even
Is it,
back then, like Dragon Age Inquisition was a completely different studio than the studio that made like KOTOR
Right.
or whatever,
right.
right?
But like, I
And-
think the question was like, is Bioware ever going to be that studio that people can be excited about again?
Well, I mean, so this feels very Mass Effect 2, right? It is an action RPG where you're mostly just worrying about your own character, and you got that fucking lame ass like a Mass Effect dialogue wheel, right? There's an elephant in the room here. We're living in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world, a post Larian world. They're post a world where the mainstream has accepted Larian as goated, right?
Right.
And it kind of, and like if you think hard about Baldur's Gate when you play this game, which I've done a really good job of while playing the game, I'm almost never thinking about it. But when you think about it, it's like, whoa, like quest design, level design, like complexity, like dialogue, like role playing, like everything is like so, like they raised the bar for sure. You can't.
They did,
have
but
to go in and just view this as kind of a comfy.
But I feel like that should have been
RPG game. That's kind of like God of War. People
But
like
I feel
God
like
of War.
I feel like as amazing as Baldur's Gate 3 is, I feel like that should have just. Of course, that should be the attitude you go into any game with. Like, if Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing, but I don't want every game to be just a carbon copy of Baldur's Gate 3 because it's amazing.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about fantasy RPGs and like Nick. It's hard to not bring up Baldur's Gate when BioWare literally made Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I mean,
I know.
The history is there.
I'm not saying
these games were kind of like those games a little bit back in the day.
I'm saying you should still be you should still be able to talk about this about Dragon Age without necessarily comparing it.
Look, I played 50 hours of this game because I think it's fun. I think it's addictive. I think the combat is in a way that the action part of the combat was never good in any of the Dragon Age games. It never felt good swinging a sword or whatever, because that's not what those games were good at, honestly. Those games were good at being like tactical RPGs, party-based RPGs. They weren't good at being like action games. I think this one is competent as an action game. It doesn't like feel quite as good as God of War, but you definitely see like the God of War influence. And
yeah, of course.
And like,
even in the crossroads and like not being kind of the main way you get around the world.
The moment gameplay.
No, I know. I'm just saying like the crossroads in general is also another point of comparison to God of War.
Like literally every setting in this game is put together kind of like a God of War map a little bit, where you're constantly solving these like little puzzles and stuff, like, oh, find the 4 crystals and hit it with your axe that comes back to you, right? I'm playing a warrior and I throw my shield like Captain America style and it comes back.
Oh, that's cool.
But it feels like Kratos throwing his axe, right?
That's probably contributing a lot more than you're giving it credit for to that feeling. Because I'm gonna be honest,
okay,
I've
50
played
hours of this game. Like, trust me, dude, it is.
But look,
they are cribbing hard.
Well, sure, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. But I'm saying I have also played about 20 hours of this game myself, and I'm playing as a mage, so I don't have the throw your shield and have it come back to you kind of thing. And
on the contrary,
I haven't thought about God of War very much while playing this, but I
on the contrary. Well,
I definitely see it.
Play more. Let me check your Steam. You really played 20 hours?
I played what the fuck, Brad? What is your problem? Why are you always doubting how much I played?
I'm actually surprised that you're not seeing more comparisons. Like, it is very God of War.
Dude, because the only thing I'm really thinking about when playing this Dragon Age game is how it compares to other Dragon Age games. I know that's not probably normal, but like the fact that I'm constantly kind of obsessing over the fact that I skipped Inquisition and I'm nervous about what that's going to do to my enjoyment of this game.
Well, it definitely like makes you care about Solus less, right? Which like the game.
I did go back and watch a video. I did do a catch-up video to like explain the Solus.
Did you watch a video for Trespasser and all that?
Yeah. The video I watched was like an hour and 20 minutes long, and it covered like. But I'll be honest.
You're in real trouble.
I watched the Trespasser part. As soon as it started talking about some of the novels, I was like, okay, I'm skipping past the novels. Yeah.
Well, Trespasser is just the DLC that explains that.
Yes.
Solus is.
I watched the video, Brad. I know what it is.
Well, like the setup is really cool, and like we don't need to get into spoilers or whatever, but like Solus is like a really interesting character, and I feel like they had the potential to make a game with him as the big bad, and they kind of like squandered that. I don't know. A lot happens in 10 years. That was definitely the plan originally, because he probably would have ended up being like the most like interesting villain of any RPG, but instead he got kind of sidelined for, two like mustache twirling big bads, I guess, and that's a decision I'm a little
I
frustrated
wonder
with.
if that was
At
because
least you
they
have
were.
cool like conversations with Solus still.
Have
Which
you
is nice
finished the
because
story?
no. So I'm like 50 hours in, but I'm still playing it very like Brad.
Are you sure, Brad? Are you sure you're 50 hours in?
So well, I mean, unlike you, I'm going to explain that my 50 hours is not like a Prince of the Universe 50 hours. Because I've done a lot of like respecking and like build theory crafting and like trying new builds. Like I think the combat is not only like really fun, the skill tree itself is decent, but like ultimately I think it's the things you're picking on the skill tree that are like pretty compelling, because all of the nodes, the skills especially, they feel like meaningful, and you combine that with the itemization, which also feels like meaningful. Like the percentages are like big, it's not like you can really like find equipment. And even though at first everything felt a little bit homogenized, it's actually kind of one of my big complaints about the game so far, is that everything might feel a little like homogenized at a glance. Like you were saying, oh, I got a melee for my fucking wizard, but like in reality, everybody can do everything. Like, there's not a single component like interaction in combat, outside of combat, like companion wise, like abilities or like world abilities. Like everyone can do everything, and it's a little frustrating.
That's. I'm glad you brought that up, because
like too easy.
I was because every character, they even make a big show of it. Like when you meet new characters in your party, there's usually a mission that you go on with them alone, and they kind of explain how their combat works and what their special environmental ability is. Like Harding, you go on a mission with Harding, and explains how she can use her new power to like move rocks to like give you new
cool
platforms.
Moment, except
it's a cool moment. And then later on, I'm running through a level and I don't have Harding in my party, and I come to a thing where it's like, and then it's just like you use your magical dagger and you can do it. And I was like, well, what the
it's
fuck
like a cop out.
that?
It's like a cop out. It's like they want you to have a very smooth experience, and it is. And I think that what has led to is that they've made an RPG.
It's a very polished
action game that kind of goes down smooth, right? But like,
which I don't blame them after some of like the riskier chances they've taken that have not paid off for them. I don't blame them for wanting to try and course correct a lot with this.
But back on the like the combat and the gameplay and the build crafting and stuff, I started finally getting like unique items, like the red items that have like really unique effects that are kind of cool and have really got me thinking about combat differently, and like like different combinations of stuff. Like I've got a cool helmet that like anytime an enemy dies, like a fucking spirit like bursts from them and like attacks like the nearest enemy, and like all like the cool like attack effects and particle effects actually look really cool in this game. And like God of War, it just, the shit looks cool to do, so it's kind of fun to do it.
I found a unique, because the red accessories or things that you're talking about are called unique items or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have, like you said, they have a lot of unique like one I got like 10 hours ago probably, and I haven't taken it off. It was like, I read the description and it was like, anybody who does damage to you is going to be chilled, like take the status effect of being chilled, which means they're all slowing down, and it builds up right until they're frozen. And I was just like, hey, that can't be right. Like that doesn't make any that sounds way too powerful. And I put it on, and I got into a situation where I got swarmed by like 3 enemies at once, and they all hit me, and then they all instantly like were covered in ice. And I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
Dude,
like
I got a unique helmet that I'm a warrior, so I have 2 resources, right? There's your cooldowns, and then there's like your resource generator, which for you is probably mana, for me is rage, right? That lets me do attacks based on that resource, right? So I have cooldowns, and then I have rage generation, right? But like I found a helmet that says none of your resource abilities are resource abilities anymore. They're all cooldowns. Every single one of your skill are cooldowns. The cooldowns are going to be longer, and your rage generation is going to go way down. Like it's harder for you to generate rage, but for every percentage of rage that you generate, or mana or whatever, we're going to raise your damage by 1%. So now like that is a completely like, oh, we decided to like completely redesign the combat system for this one helmet, see if you can make this shit work. And it's like, and at first I was like, oh well, that's actually, I mean, I generate rage pretty fast, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna fuck with this. And sure enough, I tried and I'm like, well, I'm doing more regular combat but less abilities, and I am doing a lot of damage, but it's not really for me, right? But as I've leveled up like my enchanting or whatever, which by the way, did you know you can enchant actual abilities, not just armor and weapons and stuff? I didn't know that. I started to unlock ones that reduce cooldown, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh wait a minute, if I start combining some of this cooldown reduction with that one unique helmet, all of a sudden I'm gonna crack this shit wide open, you know? It's like there's something there. There's something there with the combat and the itemization and the skill trees, and I think a lot of it is because they're willing to do cool, you know, have these unique items, have these big significant like percentage increases on things that lets you do kind of crazy shit. So it's fun to fuck with. So when I say I played 50 hours, yeah, maybe it's like 30 hours for like a normal person who just kind of head down likes to play the story. I've been like kind of like really combing through these areas, but I've also been like spending a lot of time kind of fucking with the systems and whatnot, like I do. I will say it is kind of a bootleg God of War, because this is a really polished game. And it looks really nice. It's really
maybe the
game.
most polished.
But like the stuff that they're cribbing from God of War is not quite as good as God of War. Like the puzzles are not that, you know, the exploration. Like
I do think the exploration is fun. I know it's fun.
It's very intricate, and you're unlocking shortcuts and dropping down ladders. And like at first, it's like overly confusing. But the more I've played the game, and I've kind of like started to understand like the language of the game, like I've actually found a lot of like satisfaction in like unraveling those environments and finding all the chests and stuff. It's fun. It's addictive.
It's fun and addicting. And you mentioned this is a really polished game. I think that's kind of a big thing that I'm really surprised by, because I've always liked Bioware games. Sometimes loved Bioware games, but I've never really thought of like their games have always been kind of rough around the edges, and I feel like this has been smoothed out and so much. Like this is probably the most polished Bioware game ever made. I feel like.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but it's definitely like a different vibe.
What would you?
Dragon
well,
Age.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think like Mass Effect 2 or something is like not polished or whatever.
I think
or whatever, you know.
I mean, I think I'm getting that. I think I'm saying that mostly because there's really never. I haven't really seen any awkward animations. I haven't really. I mean, aside the one thing I will say is it's kind of sticky when you're like trying to jump off things, which is kind of annoying. But like just generally exploring and platforming and cutscenes, everything is really polished.
Like, it's not. I don't even know. It like goes beyond polished to like anodyne. It's a weirdly like antiseptic game sometimes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah, everything might be a little too like sanded down.
I don't know why. Like I'm liking the game. I'm enjoying it. The game you're describing doesn't sound like the game I'm playing.
What?
Well, how much have you played?
I'm about where Nick is here in this footage, so about 20 hours.
I've done quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit. I've probably done 4 or 5 hours. Past this.
So like I'm doing the last two like. Get the party member quests, right? Like I just got Emmerich last night, and then I gotta go do this one to get the Dragon Hunter or whoever.
Yeah.
Tosh, sure. And yeah, I keep feeling like I'm waiting for the game to open up. Like I keep feeling like I'm waiting for the game to
does
like,
open
start.
Up. I think
like,
is it when you get all your characters? I mean, you definitely like get to a point where it's like
I did not know there were unique items in this game. I have not found a single one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
they are rare. They are proper rare.
You get to a point in this game.
Like
you get to a point in this game where you have like maybe like right now I have probably like 8 locations I can go to, plus the crossroads, plus all these side quests, all these like companion quests.
I've got all these locations I can go to, but I have no idea why I should. Like because I don't know what the crossroads are even for. Like
it is literally just the God of War a little bit, I think.
I guess.
And there is a main story quest with like Solas's flashbacks that you should probably like.
And also the crossroads just seems like a way to like a narrative device used to kind of like make the world more accessible and feel less like you're fast traveling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I don't use it that way. It's more like sometimes I'll do the stuff happens in like the main locations or the cities that send me back to the crossroads for whatever reasons. But I just kind of enjoy exploring because, and I think one of the reasons is when you find these chests and you find the loot, you're constantly, it's a weird thing they do. And I don't know, it's a strange choice where the equipment you finding are upgrades to existing equipment, but like it's unlocking, like it's increasing the rarity level of your equipment, which unlocks like
additional
crazier and crazier like
and...
perks like
that's
onto
the other
thing
weapons.
Too, is,
every time I feel like I'm picking up something new. Like, yeah, like that, it does that thing where it like just upgrades whatever you have, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's more of it. It's more if you find two of the same item.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It just like.
But see, what's happening is
I don't know.
It's making that armor more like unique as you get more of it. It's a strange system that it's upgrading. But as you start to get more and more perks,
but it also means that
start to lean more and more
new that isn't what you already have. It sucks. Like it's not good. You know.
I've been using the same staff since the beginning of the game.
a big reason that like I've been really addicted to like clearing out these areas and doing all these side quests is because one of the things you get is like, and this is very video gamey. So like I can understand that it's not going to click for everyone, but like I'm raising my faction level and getting resources, which lets me upgrade the shops, and the shops are getting me.
I've been doing that.
Are letting me get like the higher level rarities. Well, through exploration and through the shop, you're buying like the same weapon and armor over and over again to the point where like it's becoming more and more unique, which leans more towards like crafting a bit. But there's also like the costume, the fashion gear as well. I'm always trying to buy that from the shops as well.
That's it. That's the only thing keeping me going.
Yeah, but
fashion gear.
We're different.
like because I don't know. Maybe it is that I just haven't spent 20 hours like playing with the system, but like when I put on a fucking green staff instead of the gray staff I've been using, I don't detect the difference. The only difference is that
Bioware made a game.
The green staff came with a new transmog that I can put on. And not only that, like so many things in this game are just fucking ugly.
What? What does that mean?
Bits of armor and weapons are just so ugly. Just so fucking ugly. Like
they make some weird art choices.
And then you put it on, and it's like, this armor would look so cool if it didn't look like it gave me a fucking pot belly. Like, what is going on?
Wait, can I ask what class you play?
I didn't know. Hang on. You've talked so much, Brad. Shut up.
Yeah, of course. Can you say what class?
I didn't know before this conversation started that I was going to be on the negative side of it, but here we are. I like this game. If I had paid for this game, I don't think I would still be playing it. You know?
Damn.
I don't know.
If you paid for the game, you wouldn't still be playing.
Well, he's playing my copy.
Yeah, I'm playing. The Steam Share copy.
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I feel like if I had played, well, I don't know. I feel like if I had invested something into it, I would have felt more disgusted with it, so I wouldn't have wanted to keep playing
That's wild, man. I get it.
No, that's the thing. I am with Crispy.
But
this is not a game I respect. It is a game I'm enjoying.
It is really fun. It is really fun, and I was really surprised by what things I do like. Like, I like some of the characters way more than I thought I would.
Yes.
Nev has really like grown on me. Like, she's super cool, and I didn't realize that like the character I made and had envisioned was her. So like we have the exact same like backstory and like the exact same like kid,
which is a little weird, right?
It is a little weird.
I'm a Grey Warden.
It feels like
I'm a Grey Warden,
but like, it feels like she shouldn't be in the story if I'm in the story. Like just because of the way I built my character.
On the contrary, as a Grey Warden, it makes sense that like there's just another Grey Warden here.
I want to point something out. Prince of the
It's a
Universe
cool
says
camaraderie
Balara
with-
is best girl, and like I like Balara. I don't understand why anybody likes Balara.
You got it, because you
Like,
haven't spent
Balara
enough time.
has so much of that like coding of just like, oh, the culture war would fucking hate this lady. Like, I don't, I can't imagine.
So you hate them because you
like her.
share similar opinions? To
Yeah, because I'm a culture war. Yeah, Brad, thank you.
No, you're
'Cause I'm
right.
a
She's
culture
very
war.
like fucking.
She's annoying as fuck. Like, I like
she's
her.
like the,
I find her
the engineer
endearing,
from.
but she is annoying. Like,
Yeah,
and that's maybe my whole thing with this. This feels like
spend 20 more hours
this
with her.
feels like, this isn't. This feels like a Critical Role video game. It feels like the story is very like kind
As
of
someone who's disconnected, what does that mean?
it's like kind of
it's a
hardcore
diss.
Steven Universe fantasy, like everyone's gay and open about their feelings and really nice. Like, I don't know.
It
Like,
does start that way, skill up, but it gets better. You got to spend more time with the characters, and you know what? I think
did you
it's
just
not
call
so
me
much.
Philip?
It's not so. Well, that dude's a nice
Brad,
clown.
you're
That
getting
dude's a
fucking,
nice-
you're getting beyond.
This motherfucker was posting clips that were so disingenuous in this fucking review. It's horrible. Now, granted, like I will drag this game too because I think it
It's
is
comfy.
kind of like
It's a very comfy game.
it's comfy, but like the dialogue system is fucking trash, right? But like
Yeah.
it is trash. Like that dialogue wheel is trash. It's a trash dialogue wheel.
I mean, it's better than it used to be. I was talking to my roommate about this because he like genuinely just hates dialogue choices in video games. Like as a principle, like thinks it's just a bad way to tell a story. I don't necessarily agree with him, but there is something to be said about like where BioWare was a few years ago with that kind of thing, where like it was too much of a like there's just too many checklists to like check off in conversation. So much information was like given to you through dialogue trees, so you're going into like subtrees of subtrees of subtrees to like just get lore dumps and then like progress the story to a point where like it didn't feel conversational at all. It doesn't feel like it feels like the story's stopping so that a character can kind of like in universe explain how the universe works, but like you get that over and over again, that like never stops, right? I don't know.
What you're describing is the vibe I had early on in the game, like for sure. That like
And I
just feel
like your Critical Role or whatever, like you said, whatever the insult was. But like I'm
that's
telling
not
you,
an insult. That's not okay.
I get what you were saying though. It's not like
No, you don't.
It's
You get what you think I was saying.
No.
Can I ask a question?
But I'm saying like
Brad.
the more you spend time with these characters, the more like they become like these
Dude, I
really
love
chicks,
fucking
and they become like actual like interesting characters, or like characters you just start to kind of care for, and it just kind of like sneaks up out of nowhere, right? And maybe that just comes from like spending time with these characters, but I also feel like this happens in every BioWare game.
yeah.
This is
I
what
mean,
BioWare games are
the
like.
characters-
BioWare games are like, and there's no one in here as good as Morden or like fucking Legion or whatever. Sure, but I'm telling you, like Balara does eventually like become a character where you stop rolling your eyes, because I was with you at first.
I think he's saying he likes Balara. He's confused why
do.
other people like Balara.
Yeah, that was just an aside that had nothing to
No.
do with my actual criticism. I am genuinely shocked that like people have positively received that character.
it grows on you, like what Yeti said.
They all do. I don't think there's a single one I've met yet that I don't like. You know, I mean, like I did Emmerich's quest last night. I fucking
It's like
that dude is
great.
incredible. I
That shit
love
was
that guy.
great. Like
I
that
love that guy
location,
so
that
much.
character, that was fucking
His
great.
whole vibe, his little skeleton dude is like my favorite character in Dragon Age now, I think. Like, yeah, Harding, like I picked Harding as like my romance character, so I've been like working on that. I really like her. Dude, even like just Varric, like he's not part of the he's not like one of the characters.
The
you can,
best
like, play
narrator
as,
in
but, like,
Bioware history.
he's so good. Like just having him around, being like the opening of the game where it's like you and Varric and Harding, and it's like Varric's the old man being like, what are we getting into today, kid? Like it's so fucking peak. It's so good. There is like even a tone in the beginning of the game that I think, I don't know.
Can I interject here?
I don't
Well, actually,
know.
well, real quick. I know Chris Davis has been trying to get a word in edgewise. He had a question. I'll go after
He's
him.
gonna ask a weird question. Sorry.
I had a mechanics
God damn it,
question.
Brett.
I wanted to ask. So y'all were talking earlier about how the game seems to have a lot of flexibility for building out your equipment loads and trying out a bunch of different things within your existing class.
I mean, I feel
I'm
it's more of
curious.
just you can't really like
Yes.
fuck it up.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
can't
what
fuck it
that
up. You
means.
can't fuck it up.
It's more like you can just refund your points at any time, and
Yeah.
but I don't know what. I don't know.
So-
like
so you can
half the nodes that I'm unlocking on the fucking skill tree, I'm like, I don't know that this has done anything. Like,
It's
But what's
not everyone's
specifically-
going to play the game the way I am, but I think the game supports like people who don't want to play it that way also. But I do feel like I could see the game being is rather long, and I feel like if you don't try to engage fully with those systems, then combat's probably
guess.
going to get pretty tired.
I picked that setting that's like, oh, you need to engage with combat, or you need to engage with the equipment and the combat system. That's the setting I picked, and so far, the combat seems like, I don't know.
What class?
So-
are you
It's
playing as?
fun. I'm playing mage. I wonder if maybe
I
that
heard
was a
mage gets
mistake.
better. Well, a lot of people
So-
said early on mage is kind of whack.
That
You know
that
why-
ties
okay,
into
sorry,
my
'cause-
question though.
Yeah, what's your actual question first of all?
My question is like, so you have that very user friendly respecking for within an existing class, but is there flexibility to experiment with like multi-classing and trying out different things without
no.
having to
No,
do
this
a
isn't
whole new
very
playthrough?
complex.
You pick
But it's very easy to
one-
respec, and every character can do fucking everything. I mean,
Yeah, it's that like D&D 5th edition thing where like everybody's just kind of like some flavor of like magic user, but like
Yeah,
some
like,
people hold a
melee,
sword and
ranged.
some people hold a staff. Like
as
yeah,
much as I
like,
shoot my shield at people, I might as well be an archer.
yeah.
Even though
'Cause-
I'm a warrior, I'm a fucking archer. I mean, because
Because if I were to play this game, granted, I've never played a Dragon Age game. I know that's weird, but it's a fact of life. If I were to play it, I
True
probably would
yourself.
go for a more melee class build. But I'm watching your
still be using
footage,
magic.
and you're doing things. You have basically a Vanguard ability from Mass Effect, the Void
very
Edge, where you
homogenized.
dash
Very
across the map and you slash at a guy, and that's really fucking cool to me.
the
Yeah.
like teleport.
I mean,
All
you
the
can do it,
abilities
like,
are
the
really
mage's
cool. All the
dash.
abilities are cool.
I will say like the ranged. I don't know. I really like. I like that like the melee or the mage's like ranged ability is just like a beam of light. But every time I do it, like every time I'm like using my staff, I feel like I should be reloading, like I'm using a rifle.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but like I don't know. The
Can I back
warrior,
up to a statement you made
I
a-
always play a mage in the Dragon Age universe, but this one I just committed to. I mean, I think really what I've discovered here is that I've been willing to let the past go and just kind of like enjoy it for what it is. And granted, I've been off work, maybe I've just been kind of enjoying a little game that goes down smooth while I don't have to work. But I'm telling you, I was like, okay, this is an action game. I'm gonna play a warrior for the first time, and the warrior fucking abilities are fucking cool, man. I mean, my shield bounces around so much and does so much damage when I throw it. It's so fucking sick.
Can I-
you
can
know,
I-
Like, I wonder if that's like a thing too, because like I feel like all the party members that I want to use in combat are also wizards. So
They're
maybe I
just
should have just be like a
abilities.
sword person. Like
even the characters, if you really go into their skill trees, it's all the same shit, dude. Like
I know.
pretty much all the character. Like if you like, you might see abilities that you think are like unique, but then as you get further down their little mini trees, you're like, oh, this is just their hill.
I
This
was
is just their
genuinely relieved to open the character menu and like look at the followers and see that like their skill trees are super simple. They have their own like dedicated gear. They only have like 2 items that you can equip to them.
Their gear sucks.
Like, it is very streamlined, like very thinned out, like.
That's
And I
probably
was
what
really
contributed.
relieved to see that, and then I realized, like, oh yeah, because like,
It's an action game.
They're just glorified abilities.
well, yeah, it's more like yeah, because if you tried to make this more complicated, you probably would have fucked it up, and that I wouldn't have wanted to engage with it.
Even in Mass Effect, all the Mass Effect games,
Like-
your party members had health bars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like.
in Inquisition. You could switch characters.
I
They
was
had
getting
full skill
new-
trees, full itemization.
I was getting new armor for Neve and like not equipping it because it didn't look as cool as her default outfit, and I
They
was
have
like,
fashion
I
games.
don't even think like, and I was sitting there thinking like, oh well, that's gonna fuck me, right? And I'm like, I don't know, I've never seen a single party member die or take damage or not do anything. Like
I will say
don't
early
even know
on-
why they have equipment. Like
Early on, even where I'm at now, I kind of like don't really engage with their equipment that much because I don't think it really like matters from moment to moment. But I see as their stuff levels up as well, there's potential that you can really lean into a build synergy that is like
Yeah.
uses their stuff with the shit that you're really focusing in on to do some pretty crazy shit. I'm not even
Also,
there
yeah,
yet.
I'm glad.
but
I'm glad
Right now,
that
they're
it
just a slowdown and a
is
heal
like that.
and like some combos. And
I
even
like
their
the
combos
combo.
don't even-
I like the
can't-
combining abilities to like sometimes they'll have magic abilities that you can, if you go
Yeah,
into the
they've
wheel,
always
you
done
can
that.
like use them simultaneously to create new effects. Like that's pretty cool.
It's just a Dragon Age staple. But like they do this weird effect in this, which I think wasn't, so I never played Mass Effect Andromeda. I was thinking about it because some people are kind of like whatever on this game, and that's fine. But if Andromeda came out and was this like polished and pretty, like
It
they
would've been- I
clearly
think it would've
gave
been
the
super
time, do you
successful.
think it would have been fine, or do you think that game had bigger issues that like this game didn't, aside from polish and bugs and?
Well,
I mean, I
I
can't
think
speak
it
for this
didn't
game,
help that
but
there was only like 2 years between Andromeda and
I'm not saying
Mass
why.
Effect
I'm
we came
saying
before.
does Andromeda have bigger issues even outside of like polish and bugs and weird shit from
it
launch?
think
has
it has
some
this-
balance issues with the jetpacks and how they do the cover based combat, and it doesn't necessarily give you as much freedom as the previous Mass Effect games tried to give you. But underneath those layers of issues, like it's a pretty decent game.
I think this level of polish would have gone a long way in making that game more palatable when it came out. Which honestly, like one thing we know for a fact now is that they're not like they said don't expect story DLC for this game because they're already now they have shifted full
Yeah.
production on Mass Effect 5. And I'm sitting here thinking, I know
They make that decision after seeing launch day sales. of
yeah,
course.
probably, but like this is very much their first game since the end of the Mass Effect trilogy, or I guess maybe since Inquisition. And Inquisition was already starting to show some crap. Like people were not necessarily as on board for that. Like this has been kind of I don't want to say return to form for Bioware, but it's the first game that I think they've seen in a long time that's been received pretty well.
Pretty well.
So I mean, and I say that because Bioware, people have been shitting on Bioware and being like, the Bioware that we know and love is dead. It'll never be the same again. And maybe that's true, but like I'm playing this and thinking to myself, man, I like this enough to say I would love to see what a Mass Effect with this level of thought and polish would look like.
Yeah, but I mean, it would probably be like this.
But I love that universe. So I
If
feel
y'all
like
had
that's
talked
really
to
all
me
I
30
need.
hours ago when I was like where y'all are at, like I would have been tearing this game down. It grows on you. The characters grow on you. The gameplay grows on you. Maybe the combat for some of y'all will get a little tired if you're not really engaged in it. But like the way you explore the world and kind of like unravel those like locations is cool. It becomes addictive. And again, not like this is my game of the year. As in just like I'm it's surprising how much I find myself wanting to turn the game back on and really just kind of like chip away at it. Like it's addictive and it's very homogenized in a way that really bothers me, and it's smooth in a way that really bothers me. But like this isn't a Larian game. This is a BioWare game, and I'm just thank God like we're actually still getting Dragon Age games. I honestly didn't expect more from this. I expected less, really. So it's not a disappointment for me because I was done being disappointed with Inquisition and with Dragon Age 2. Now it's just a new day, and I like fantasy RPGs, and this is a new one that's weird and like frustrating, but
So
like God of War, like God of War I thought was really cool, but like in the itemization and like the abilities and stuff in that game were kind of cool, but like you didn't get that stuff at like a steady enough clip to where I was like constantly engaged and like thinking about my build constantly. You would get something like every like hour, but here you're upgrading your fucking equipment like constantly by just picking it up. It's very like streamlined, but like it's constantly got me going into the menu thinking about stuff, and it's addictive. I don't know. It's
can I just
let me ask you something.
Oh, go ahead.
What factions did you guys pick?
Shadow Dragon.
so I'm a Grey Warden, and I like all the Grey Warden stuff now.
Oh, you're a Grey Warden? Fucking cop.
I mean, no, that's not. They're not the cop. They're not cops. That's not a good like
That one
analogy.
Grey Warden that you meet early in the story is a
No.
fucking cop.
They're like the Night's Watch. They're not cops.
Yeah, cops. They're cops.
No, fuck off, dude. The Night's Watch are not cops either. Fuck you.
Cops.
But I like that there's a Grey Warden on my team, and I feel like, and maybe it's a little weird when you're talking to Nev as a Shadow Dragon, but like
Let's
for
talk
me
about
as a Grey Warden talking to me about having Asan and that what's his name, Devrin. He's a really good character too, and like there's like a camaraderie. I feel like a little bit. I'm excited when my Grey Warden options pop up because I didn't think there was going to be like much of that, and it makes me think a lot about like Dragon Age Origins, right? Where like the Grey Wardens were like the biggest deal, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of I still think like the best like stories in that universe, both books and games, centered around the Grey Wardens, and maybe that's just me thinking about a Song of Ice and Fire or whatever. But like that shit was like Dragon Age Origins just slaps, and like Grey Wardens, I don't know. I like that stuff.
What did you pick?
And I kind of wish I was another faction. Like I don't replay games. I
You wish you
definitely
weren't a
wouldn't
cop.
replay a game this long, but I kind of want to see what the different options would feel like, because I'm actually kind of impressed how they keep bringing in the Grey Warden into the conversation.
I'm a Shadow Dragon, Crispy.
Hey, me too.
He don't even know what that means. He doesn't even know what the Venator
You
is.
fucking piece of shit.
What is your job as a Shadow Dragon?
Nick. You just
I'm
have
bringing
to
slaves.
Nick.
Bring slaves?
Nick. To stop engaging with him, you got to understand. This is Brad's Star Wars, okay? Like this isn't a real conversation we're having. This is him masturbating.
Oh, why
I don't
are
like
we a
Dragon
part
Age
of this?
because Star Wars people are weird about Star Wars, but I am curious to see the vibe if I picked a different faction. Also, early in the game, did either of y'all make that big choice? Y'all both should have made it right now. I know
Yes.
Crispy did, where you're like,
I did.
you could call it a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler. At some point, you make a major decision of like which, which city to save or let not be saved.
I
or
didn't
whatever. 'Cause
realize it
you have
closes
to make
you
a
out of
tough
a
choice.
vendor.
Vendors. Oh, is that why I can't fucking find a
you
vendor in
can't-
Teresa?
Yeah, if you like,
Fuck.
if
We
you
all
look
made the same
Treviso,
decision?
you can't buy any Antivan Crows stuff anymore.
Man,
Their shit looks so cool.
Nobody defended Treviso. Ah, shit.
No,
Well, I
mean,
didn't because I didn't want to make Nev sad.
I'm a fucking Tevinter and
Hey, man,
I mean,
for me, I love
me,
Neve, so
Tevinteri.
I wasn't about to screw over my chances
Yeah.
with Neve.
No,
and, like,
it's
I
not
heard
Neve.
Neve
It's
is
Nev.
rude.
Neve is from Catfish. Stop it.
Whatever. Yeah, but her name is Neve. I'm sorry. I know. Yeah. Anyway, Nev.
But
whatever.
It's more
See-
that I feel like their argument about, well, if the Venatori takes over like the Tevinter Empyrean's like council, like that'd be really bad for everyone versus
Yeah.
like some sad civilians in Treviso. Whatever.
Right.
It's
Sure,
it's
a little
cool
bit.
when you
Say
go back to
Treviso.
those places to see the impact on that city. It makes me want to like, again, I don't replay these games, but BioWare games are like famously like pretty replayable because of stuff like this. I really want to see what happens if you let Minrathous like go to shit or whatever. I do, as a Dragon Age boy or whatever, I don't know. I was kind of excited to see the Tevinter Imperium, and I feel like Docktown doesn't really give me those like vibes. It just
Yeah.
seems like a, I don't know. It was a
What you
weird
see in the
choice.
beginning of the game is really cool.
Yeah, super cool. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, I thought this was gonna be like blow the doors off the Tevinter Imperium, and I'm just in like kind of the slums of
It's not like
Minrathis, and
it's like the
ah.
outer city in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I hope that it goes places, because there have been times, the more I played, where like, oh, I'm going there. It's just there's like a whole event that's gonna happen in this place, which is like crazy, right? I don't want to spoil anything, but like yeah, like there's locations that I didn't expect to see or go to, but with the power of the Luvian mirrors, you can go anywhere. Hopefully, that'd be cool to go back to the south or whatever to see Ferelden or whatever. I don't know. Although I think it's like overrun with blood.
Can I just say, like, I don't disagree with anything that's being said here, at all. But
well, I'm not letting anyone say anything, so I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, that is true. That is accurate. But for real, like I'm about 20 hours in, and I am really enjoying this game quite a bit. Like I'm having a great time with it. I recognize that it's not...
For the record, I am too.
Okay.
And I didn't want to come off like
had some thoughts.
blazing this thing too hard, because I mean I can rant for sure.
Well, yeah, you sure can. I'm just saying, like, there are so many things about that, like, because usually like a really good set of characters in the story can keep me hooked on a game that I'm not even necessarily enjoying from a mechanical standpoint, yet I still bounce super hard off of Inquisition. So I was really worried that I was going to take the risk again and find myself bouncing off of it, but this has successfully reeled me back into this universe in a big way. And it's also one of those things where it's like, we always talk about Bioware not like, is this going to be, this is a different Bioware than we're used to. So like, should I not have the same expectations as I used to have for a Bioware game? But let me tell you, one of the most important things about Bioware game has always been like your team, your characters, and who you're gonna be romantic with. And let me tell you, I am torn. Like,
I don't think you're torn.
I mean, I'm not really super torn. Like, here's the thing.
You ain't gonna pick the dwarf, and you ain't gonna pick the Kunari. Don't you fucking lie to me.
I thought about Harding, but no, listen. I thought about Harding.
You're pretty fucking ugly.
I thought about Harding.
Guy, okay, we get it.
No, listen. Right? I mean, obviously, the obvious choice for me was going to be Nev, right? So, like, I was very much like a go for Nev, and then I met Tosh. Is it Tasha? Tosh? I've only had her for one night. What's her name? Tasha? Tosh? Help me out here.
He's not
the Kunari. The Kunari.
That sounds.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm starting to second guess myself. I'm thinking about. I really like her as a character. I think.
Dude, I was all in on Harding. I was all in on Harding until I met Emmerich, and there was an option to say something flirty to Emmerich, and I was like, "Oh my god, what?"
Hello. Yeah, man. I like all these characters.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I go to check on Harding, and I'm like,
"It's about them short stacks."
Wait, I'm sorry. All I heard was short stacks. What are we talking about?
Oh, side reel.
I'm saying sometimes I go check on Harding, and I'm like, she kind of cute though.
She is.
I went with Harding because I made like a young elf guy, so I was like, I like the idea of like an elf and a dwarf romance.
I do apologize, Sonji. I think I may have accidentally misgendered Tosh. My point is, they are awesome. They are awesome. I love that character.
They will grow.
I'm starting to have second thoughts.
They have way more conversations between each other when you take them places, to the point where I'm always taking everybody. Like, I'm not like sticking to like some core group, which I usually do in BioWare games. I feel like in this game, I'm kind of taking everybody because it's so easy to kind of get around. You're teleporting. It's so easy to swap them in and out at like little checkpoints or whatever. I'm constantly, and like, maybe the Balara stuff is a little much, right? At first, but like seeing the way she plays off of like different characters. I mean, it's just interactions is what we love about BioWare games. I feel like
they're great in this game.
It's good. They grow on you. I'm telling you.
Dude, I took Tosh and Nev on a quest together, and they started having a conversation. Or Tosh offered to help Nev with. By the way, I didn't realize Nev was an amputee for for like 10 hours until I saw a cutscene. And I was like,
her prosthetic leg is
Don't tell
sick.
the Gamer Gators.
no, but then Tosh started having a conversation about wanting to help her, and she's like, "Help me? What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, your leg is shaped a little like a hook. How do you go up like ladders?" And she's like, "I've never really thought about it that way." And then she started offering to like make her a new, like fashion her a new foot that won't get caught on ladders and stuff. And like the whole conversation, I was like, "Oh my god, I love this."
The amount of interactions they have at the lighthouse in the world and at the lighthouse, it's crazy. Like there's a ton there in a way that I never
They
seen.
are fun.
I don't think I've seen this much in a BioWare game previously, and I think
mean,
they're getting a
still
lot
got
of
that-
mileage from that. And it's
they
not
still got
all
that
like Marvel
banter.
stuff, which is which is absurd to even call it that. But
They still got
Yeah.
it. They still got
They
it when
do.
it comes to like the party banter.
which is
Right.
what carried Inquisition. I feel like a little bit. It was the
Alright.
characters, right?
So 50 hours in, you got to tell me, spoiler or no,
Just
can I romance Manfred?
dude, when I was reading To Winter Nights, before I even knew
It's not a
Imric
yes
was
or
in
no.
the book, and I was reading To Winter Nights,
Is
and
that the skeleton?
this book, and they mentioned, and I got to the part of the book where they mentioned Manfred, and I was like, "Holy shit! Hold the phone! Everyone, shut the fuck up!"
Dude,
Manfred
so
was just
sick.
mentioned in this book.
The fucking the noises he makes are horrifying and adorable. He's like, I love it. I love it. And when I said
so many
when
of
I
those
said the
characters,
story
too.
was like Critical Role, kind of like Steven Universe sort of thing, I meant that it's bright, maybe, you know. I didn't mean it as a bad thing, but that's one of those things that's like a goofy little affect that like I really appreciate.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. But like Crispy, I believe what you're saying, but picture someone who's like their favorite thing in the world is Steven Universe, and they can't stop talking about Steven Universe, and that's they live and die by Steven Universe, and do
Oh.
the same thing for like Critical Role, and that's more what I meant when I'm like, it's a smidge of a pejorative. You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
Can I name the show
people
then a
who
smidge
are
of a
on
pejorative?
Tumblr would really like this game. Like
Only if you can fit it into 100 characters.
Really,
Nick.
sometimes they like good things. I can't help it. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
All right, I
sometimes
think.
they like stuff like Sherlock, and sometimes they like good things. Like, I don't know.
Damn, attacking my wife.
Gentlemen, we have talked about
She's big into
this game
Sherlock.
for 55
Sherlock
minutes.
is offensively bad.
Dude,
I mean, it was fine early
I,
on.
I've enjoyed myself, Sherlock, but
Okay.
yeah, my wife really likes that show. Leave her alone. I hate you guys. Anyways, let's go ahead and put a cork in it so Brad can prepare for his next masturbatory conversation.
Stop calling it masturbatory. I mean, it's not really what it is, man. I'm just
Well,
talking a lot.
the one part was.
that it was hard to get a. Okay, never mind. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
it was hard.
I mean, I hate to say it. You know, we didn't come to the, table with the same
Yeah.
interests and
Yeah.
passions. And Nick, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, but this shit ain't
fucking
gonna
geek.
be your game of the year, and it never had a chance to be. I mean,
I mean,
and it doesn't have a chance to be my game of the year
again,
either.
I can't help but ask when you say shit like that. Are you saying like if it's not my number one game on my top 10, like it doesn't fucking matter? Which is like
I'm saying this is my episode to talk a lot, just like the Silent Hill episode was your episode to talk about. It's fine. We just have to accept that.
we'll be back after this quick break. Welcome back to the show, Chris Davis. Are you ready to talk about Vampire Survivors?
I am
No,
looking
I'm
forward to
ready.
getting
Fuck
about.
you. It's a
fuck.
Castlevania game.
God
Ode to
damn it!
Castlevania.
I tried
There are
so
more-
hard.
There are more characters in Ode to Castlevania than they were in 1.0 Vampire Survivors. After years of early access, Roll that sweet footage. And if you've played Vampire Survivors, you know there's a lot of unlockable secret shit in that game.
Y'all are all playing this, aren't you? Like all three of y'all? Y'all
Yeah.
are all
Yes.
like balls deep in this?
I played
Okay.
more than
I
this. than I
played
have
over 40
Dragon
hours of
Age.
this. I played
Alright.
over 40 hours of this, closer to 50. This is a really and mostly just on the one map. There is the Castlevania Castle and Castle Grounds are a single map in this game, and it's unlike from what I am familiar with because I didn't play any of like the Vampire Survivors DLC, but they didn't really have maps like this where it's a big sprawling map and where you're unlocking teleporters that stay unlocked on each run. So you can basically go different routes through the castle as you're doing your Vampire Survivors run, which is super cool because there are like secrets and secret bosses, and you're just trying to like figure out all the stuff and find all the stuff within the castle as you play it. And it's been super addictive finding like trying to come up with like optimal routes to like get all of the because there's so much to pick up just on the ground. It's always been a Vampire Survivors thing, like ever since even early access, right? Where you're as you're leveling up, you're picking, oh, am I going to do the Bible or am I going to do the cross or am I going to do the holy water, right? And you're going to choose one, and then you're going to like, oh, am I going to get the sub weapon that makes the Bible evolve, or the sub weapon that makes the cross evolve, right? And these evolutions, you're combining sub items with items to get more powerful, right? But then they started introducing a thing where, well, instead of leveling up to get the candelabra, which increases the area of effect of an item, which by the way combines with the axe to evolve it into something even crazier, right? Now we just have a candelabra in the level, so you don't have to like level up to like choose the candelabra. You fill up all your slots and then go pick it up, and now you have an extra slot and get even more and more powerful. And that sort of became the meta of playing a Vampire Survivor stage. But now in the Castlevania Castle, there are so much shit just in the world, not just like items on the ground that you can pick up, but also like bosses will drop spells and stuff. Just specific bosses will drop specific spells. You have like the bookcases. I don't know if that was a thing before where you can like choose, you get the bookcase and you can like choose which sub weapon you want out of the entire list, which really kind of adds like a strategy. And again, with the teleporters and stuff, like finding like a really good route through the castle to hit these bosses at this time to get these items, and then circle back to get the tiramisu, because you never want to get the tiramisu right away because that's just a waste of a slot. You know what I mean? Oh,
What the
it's
fuck
so
are you
addictive.
talking about?
It's so good. Castlevania, baby, Castlevania. This is such a loving homage to all thing Castlevania in a way I don't think I've ever seen a DLC pay homage to something. Like, and this game had like cool Contra DLC a few months ago or whatever that, from what I understand, was really cool. But it's like a joke compared to the amount of like content they put in here. It's insane. They're at the point where I'm at. My character select screen for just Castlevania characters is up to 79 playable characters from the Castlevania universe.
But like,
79.
okay, serious question. I've got to ask.
Actual characters from that have been playable in Castlevania
like-
games, obscure characters, merchants, NPCs.
This is gonna sound super ignorant. I know this, and you're probably gonna like
I'm not gonna
call me names for asking. But like,
Yeah.
what does that even mean in a game like this? Like, I'm looking at
they
footage
do
of this. And I
clever
still
things. They do clever things with it. Actually, you would think, oh, it's just going to be like a weapon type and whatnot, but like,
I mean,
they've and like the differences between characters and like Vampire Survivors is not like super deep. Yes, you're right. It's not fucking Chun-Li versus Ryu in a fighting game, okay? But like, they find clever ways to make those characters and like the weapons they use and like the way they evolve weapons, because it gets pretty complex. Like very like they definitely do clever little nods to like the way characters are, and mechanics worked with those characters and weapons worked with those characters in games, to the point where you are seeing like you can tell that these people who made this not just love Castlevania, they know it. They know it all. They know Castlevania like I know Castlevania, in a way that reminds me so much of Castlevania Harmony of Despair, which is a game that had like all of the Igavania characters and systems and items. We just threw it all in one big game that's kind of like Diablo and multiplayer and co-op or whatever, which is great.
I mean,
I
it
fucking love
it
Harmony
feels
Despair.
like
This feels a lot like that.
Konami just came to Ponsel and said, "Look, you can do whatever the fuck you want with Castlevania. Just make certain it looks like fucking Castlevania." And that's the truth here. I mean, Brad's not exaggerating when you're talking about how many characters that you could potentially play as. Like, it feels like every.
Half the time I can't even tell where the character is on screen.
I mean, no, you can't tell. That's part of what this game is. But also, like, half of the enemy sprites in the Castlevania map feel like they're ripped directly from Symphony of the Night.
All this shit is even like fucking character walk animations. It is so lovingly like thorough.
Yeah.
And it's homage. Or
I believe
not even
you.
homage. I mean, it's there's so much there. The weapons, the items, the fact that Soma's weapon is a grenade, and when he evolves it turns into a rocket launcher. Because god damn it, in Dawn of Sorrow, you could pick up a fucking rocket launcher, which was crazy. But it was the Castlevania game that was kind of set in modern times. You know, it's so cool. There's so much cool
rocket launcher weapon is so sick.
I unlocked a Flea Man. He has 1 hit point, which let me tell you, for Vampire Survivors is absurd to have a character with 1 hit point.
That sounds fantastic.
I mean,
let me explain. Okay. Yo, you've played Symphony of the Night, right?
Are you asking me?
You played Symphony of the Night, right?
Yes, I have.
Crispy, you played it?
Yeah. What?
You know, you go under the castle, and there's like, you know, the fucking Charon on his boat or whatever.
Yep.
And before you could get the ability to swim in the water, he would take you across the water to another area. You remember that character?
I do.
Right? They call him the ferryman. He was basically, the robe. You know, he's kind of like Charon or whatever.
Here it comes. He's
Anyway,
in this game.
Not only is he a playable character, he's in his fucking boat. And his starting ability is that he has the water underneath him. And everything that's in the water takes damage like it's fucking garlic. And as he goes up and down, the water lowers and raises with the boat.
Oh, like the fucking Blue Death guy that would come and like in stages and raise the water up.
Oh.
In normal Vampire Survivor.
Oh, I don't even remember that character. But yeah, so like the enemy is like drowning like below the boat. And I'm like, they did not need to do this. This is pretty fucking rad. And like the weapon choices they make for certain characters, the fact that there are so many different whips, because there's been so many different like kinds of whips in mechanically in the Castlevania series, floppy whips and like, 8-direction whips and whips that are like
those floppy whips, man.
And like the fucking and all the crazy like Alucard weapons, like the Chrysogrim and stuff, like they have those as like evolutions and shit. But like you could just be a character with like 6 different whips and just fucking tearing ass through this game, and it's so cool.
So something I found, which granted I've only unlocked 5 characters so far from Castlevania, but Hector, his special ability is that he can summon familiars. And what I found is that based on the familiar you choose, they aren't necessarily attacking the enemy, more like pushing him around. So when you get to the 30-minute mark and death comes for you, you can actually be pretty safe for a good while, because he just pushes death out of the way. He can never reach you. Like, it took
when you unlock Maria, who has like a ton of familiars, it's ridiculous because they just can't get to her. I mean, it's such like a weird busted mechanic, because it's not like you're gonna kill them, but like some people have been doing runs that are like in the hours just because death can't kill them, get to them. But like, the fact that like all the fucking familiars are there from like Symphony of the Night, and they level up with you, like they get more powerful and get more abilities by leveling up. So you're gonna like trying to route through the castle to try to get like the familiar diamond that's in the world like quicker. So it can level up with you. Dude, there's so many bosses in this game. There's like dozens and dozens of bosses that are like ripped right out of the games. There are side-scrolling bosses in the game. The first time I got to a side-scrolling section, and the way they hacked a jump into my fucking Vampire Survivors character is the most insane fucking thing. And that doppelganger fight which by the way, they have the doppelganger fight from Symphony of the Night. It was probably the hardest boss in the game because they restrict your weapons. There's other like side-scrolling bosses in the game. I won't spoil who they are. They're pretty like, famous Castlevania bosses. But they don't take away your weapons. That doppelganger fight will take away your weapons, and it's like fucking always tricky every time I go in there.
It will take away weapons that are not strictly from Castlevania.
No, it's not just that. It's not just that. Because I only play with Castlevania weapons and stuff. They take away. That's just a weird boss fight thing where it just kind of cycles them in and out. I don't even really understand that mechanic, but it's just, I guess they do that so the fight's not completely busted. But this thing is cool. This thing is cool. You can unlock the pieces of the clock tower and just evolve it into becoming a clock tower. And like to the point.
What does that do for you?
They didn't you have like pendulums and gears and
like the elevators all over the place up and like they'll damage
they're all
enemies.
attacking the enemy. It's fucking crazy.
So I haven't figured that out yet.
But the final boss of this game has the raddest deep cut. Like if you're a Castlevania fan, specifically a Symphony of the Night fan, oh my god, the music track that they pull out in that final boss encounter is just I was pogging, man. I was pogging. I was like the pog gif.
Oh, okay.
So,
I was like, what are we talking about here? Okay.
That's crazy. I can't believe they did that.
The biggest mystery for me right now is that I've gotten to the throne room from Symphony of the Night. And I can tell there's something that's supposed to happen there, but I can't figure out what it is to trigger it.
Yeah, you got a long way to go. I played this game for nearly 50 hours, and like there's so many characters I have not played as. There is so much content in this game. This is a $4 DLC. That is like such a loving homage to Castlevania, but it is also like secretly Vampire Survivors 2. It is absolutely insane how much they put in this. It's absolutely crazy. But this crab, by the way, boss from Order of Ecclesia, you can play as like fucking 8 characters from Order of Ecclesia. It doesn't even make sense. Like you're playing as like fucking merchants and shit. It's absurd. It's fucking absurd.
Does this not just make you a little sad that Castlevania as a franchise is
like so it's crazy that everything like Castlevania is seemingly thriving if you ignore the fact that like
actual Castlevania game.
If you ignore the fact that there has been no like actual Castlevania game in like a decade or something, right?
Fucking banana.
But these shows and spin-offs and like major like all these major indie games like Dead by Daylight and V Rising and Dead Cells, they all have this Castlevania DLC that's like
it's almost
awesome,
like
Smash Brothers is putting in Castlevania characters and stuff. It's like
it's almost everywhere. Like people would pay for a new Castlevania game if they made one. Like
it's become something like
do that.
But I think it's gonna happen. To be fair, Konami is a weird company, right?
Yes, they are.
It feels a little bit like Mega Man.
Understatement of the year.
It feels a little bit like Mega Man, where like people love Mega Man so much, but Capcom just doesn't give a shit, right? But like Capcom is still like a working company that makes games and has internal teams, and they could probably do something with Mega Man more than they're doing.
Or Dino Crisis, or half a dozen of their IPs.
With Konami, I'm just glad they're letting
other people carry the torch.
Other people do stuff like this, because this is way more than what I was expecting with this DLC. It's crazy. This game will be on my top 10. This DLC, because it's basically like a full Nick's haunted. Oh, just one of these days I want to open that door and it to be like that scene from It Follows 2.
Oh, fuck you!
Like
don't
really
say
tall
that
man.
Don't say that. Oh my god, it's one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Okay, no, the cat was demanding to be let back in. Yeah, no, man. It's so if Silent Hill can have its day, maybe it's not too late for Castlevania.
I fucking dare you. Shut the fuck up. You got like 8 Silent Hill games, and maybe most of them are fucking trash, but like you're still eating good. I don't even want to hear it.
No, so, dude, no. I have 8 Silent Hill games, but like the last one that came out prior to this remake was fucking 10 years ago or something. You know what I mean?
Downpour?
No, two. You've had 2 Silent Hill games that came out in the past year
Well,
so.
I know that's what I'm saying. Silent Hill, Konami is finally giving Silent Hill its resurgence, and if it can happen for Silent Hill, which I would say is maybe the probably the least popular of like Konami's major IP that they have behind Metal Gear and Castlevania, among others. Like, it could happen for Castlevania. I don't know what they're fucking waiting for. Like, it's a renaissance. Like, everybody but Konami is making Castlevania content. Like, what
I
the
just
fuck?
hope that when they finally do let some indie dev, I hope the reason like Silksong is taking so long is because Team Cherry's been really. There's a
Don't
handful of
get your-
devs that would be like dream projects for me, right? I think the most obvious one in the world is like From Software or something, right? I just worry that they're gonna like give it to somebody like WayForward or whatever that's gonna do like a 7 out of 10 job, and it deserves so much more. This is crazy though. This is 10 out of 10 DLC. This will be on my top 10 list. It's
Does that count?
it's absurd. Count for what, bitch?
I don't know. This game didn't. Never mind. I'm.
What does any of this shit matter?
You're right.
I mean,
You're
I
absolutely
care
fucking
more
right.
about this DLC than you're gonna care about your number
You're-
9. So at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
There it is again. What is up with this shit, Brad? It's driving me
That's a
crazy.
meme. It's funny. Memes don't work
Why do
if they
you
don't keep coming
taking
back
shots
up.
at
What the
my
fuck,
number
Nick?
9 spot? It's not my number 10 spot. It's my number 9 spot that you keep taking shots at. I don't understand.
No one ever told a joke one time and it's a meme. Like that existed only in that one instance of the joke being told to the one audience that they were with. It's got to keep happening.
I know.
What did Kojima say about memes?
I don't know. What did Kojima say about memes?
Fucking Metal Gear Solid 2, man. Look it up. He was.
You know
way ahead of
what?
his time.
You're right. All right.
Are we done with this shit?
I don't know. Are we? Wait, what shit? You mean this podcast or this conversation that you've been having?
The
Primarily.
podcast. I don't know. What are
This
we talking
conversation
about?
Brad has been having.
Are you suddenly just like, if you talked yourself into wanting to leave so you can go play more Vampire Survivors or
No, I'm
Dragon
not gonna
Age?
play anything. Man. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm sick and I got to work early tomorrow.
So we can dream.
But I
All
mean,
right. Well, look. I have.
run the course.
We've talked a lot in this episode about 2 games in particular. I will say this. I know Chris Davis said he's not going to talk about Life is Strange because he has not played a ton of it yet.
Yeah.
And
Let's hear about Peglin.
I was going to talk about Metaphor Refantasio, but I reached a point where I realized the only way I'm ever going to finish either of these big RPGs is if I focus on one at a time. So I am playing Dragon
chose
Age.
the non-Japanese one. Holy shit, Nick! The clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. I know. But also, I'm trying. I wanted to finish at least one of them before I start playing Stalker 2. So
fucking
Which is
Western
next
bitch.
Wednesday.
yeah, I know. I'm a Western bitch. What can I say? Maybe I should just take the L. I don't fucking know.
man,
So
you're
yeah,
doing good, you're doing
my point is gonna save those games for next week. I know Chris Davis said, I don't know, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about your time with Space Marine 2. Is that
I mean,
today?
I could. I haven't finished it yet. I've been kind of
Yeah, footage.
entering and doing co-op with my friends, but I figure Crispy might be able to help me out here.
Did you bring footage?
He
Yeah,
talked
I
about this
got
shit
footage.
ages ago.
Yeah,
That was like
Chris Davis
September or
hadn't played
something
much
like
of it.
that. I hadn't played it.
that's ages
tell me,
ago.
Tell me about co-op.
Dude, it's really, really fun. I was kind of surprised. I didn't realize that the actual core campaign was co-op as well. I just thought it was limited to. I thought there was just a dedicated co-op campaign. That was it.
So are both of those things true? Like, you can play the single player campaign co-op, but there's also a completely separate. Is that am I understanding
Yes.
correctly? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
The co-op campaign are all mission. So in the story, Titus is also commanding another team that he sends to go do other
that's
stuff
right.
while
That's
his
right.
team is doing something. The only difference is that if you play the campaign co-op, you have to play Titus's squad members who are just 2 other dudes. If
Yeah.
you're playing the operations, the co-op missions, you're using the class system, so you've got different loadouts and different war gear that you can use depending on
Gotcha.
what class you pick.
Yeah, and every class I've played so far has felt really good. I haven't run into a scenario to where I'm not able to proceed or be satisfied at all. Like the heavy gunner with the fucking chain gun is great for just mowing down waves upon waves of Tyranids.
Yeah.
They all make me come. It's crazy.
Brad, shut the fuck
The
up.
one with the grappling hook is my favorite. I love that.
Grappling is really good. The emphasis on the one with the Warhammer. Oh, the Warhammer's so fucking good in this game.
There's a Warhammer in this Warhammer game?
Whoa.
This is a
They
well,
call
the-
it the Warhammer?
Well,
No, they
I
call it
mean,
a power hammer.
Power Hammer. I don't know what else to call it other than fucking badass. Like
Do you buy it for $40,000?
I mean, the thing about this game to me is that
Credit?
there was that level of skepticism I think I shared with almost everyone out there about Saber pulling out a dedicated sequel to a game that came out on the Xbox 360 and doing it well.
Saber stand.
And they fucking did it. Like,
Wait, you're saying you were skeptical of Saber?
I was skeptical of Saber.
Okay.
But they played to their strengths in this game. Like the whole, I mean, half the attractiveness to this game is like the swarm tech of the enemies that come at you, and that they had that stuff ready to go because they made two World War Z games that worked out pretty well, and it just naturally fits for this. The combat is. Like they added a fucking parry to this game. Something that didn't make sense for the original Space Marine. It fits so well in here.
Dude, one of my favorite things in this game, and this is just, I mean, it mechanically, it's probably just because it looks fucking cool more than anything, but like, when a Tyranid like jumps at you and you like hit the button in time and he just like, grabs him by the throat mid-air and just like smashes them into the ground.
Slams on the ground.
Ooh. Yeah, that's some good shit. Right. I do miss the orcs a little bit.
Yeah, that is my one remaining complaint about this game. I mean, that the charm of the orcs is just not here.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of factions in Warhammer, and you know it wouldn't make sense to like just make a bunch of games about fighting the orcs, but like the orcs were so good and funny. it was just such a weird combination of like grim dark fantasy and like humor in that last game that's not really present here. In fact, this is just kind of like pure grim dark. It's still fucking awesome though.
This
is one of those games I want to see if I can finish for the end of the year, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I mean, we can play the co-op, man. It's not that long
ago. I want to, but like, there's just so many fucking games.
What are you playing next?
What do you mean? What am I playing next? Metaphor, baby. Stalker 2 comes out in less than a week, and I did a thing, guys.
Well, Stalker 2 could suck. Hey, but this is short, right?
I mean, it's like I think on How Long to Beat, it's like I want to say it's like 20 hours, which
they're not 20 hours. The campaign?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the fucking. Here, I'm gonna pull it up. I mean, out of curiosity.
The co-op missions are about 45 minutes apiece, and there's like 7 of them. Each campaign level could probably be finished in about half an hour, 45 minutes. It does add up, but it's not that bad.
Dude, the difference between like main and extra and completionist for this game is ridiculous. It's 15 hours for main plus extra, and then 65 hours for completionist. Like, what the fuck?
Because they're not counting all the co-op stuff. Probably.
I guess that's true. I mean, I would like to play some co-op. I mean, there's so many games that I want to kind of like at least dabble in, especially like multiplayer experiences I want to dabble in before the end of the year, including this.
Silksong's coming out soon.
Shut the fuck up. That's not happening.
Oh, shut up,
That
Brad.
cannot happen.
We cannot. It does. That'd be so sick.
Brad, stop hijacking this.
Oh, sorry. Tell me about
it's my favorite part of this game is, from a narrative perspective, how they integrate like the co-op stuff going on with what's going on with the main campaign. Like you do, like you're just it's happening in a natural level that doesn't feel common these days. You run into these, you meet these characters. He said, "Hey, how you doing? You're gonna go do this." And then as you're going through the level, you're getting those updates and those conversations between the characters in the logical time frame in which this stuff would be happening. Like it seems like an innocuous thing, but it plays out really well in my head.
And then you combine that, I think, with like how much there is to do and see and explore in like the hub area too, in between the missions. Like it's just a really well realized.
And like the stuff you're doing in these co-op missions, they feel substantive to the plot. There's a lot of stuff that is unique to the co-op stuff. Like there's a mission where you go fight a boss tyrannid that is mentioned, but as far as I've played in the game, like I have not come across it like nearly a dozen hours of the core campaign. So like there's plenty of interesting content and boss fights and unique stuff that you just don't get in the core single player. I think that's really just fucking cool.
How many?
They did it really well.
The co-op campaign. How many players is it? Is it just 2?
It's 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
Could not remember. Yeah. I'm gonna try it. I want to try it.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
No. Yeah. This is. I think this is one of the. This is a game that, you know, I think we all had our doubts to some extent with this game, but I think they pulled it off for sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever finish this, Crispy?
I think
you finished it before you even talked about it that one time. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool
How dare
beans. How dare I?
How fucking dare you?
Right.
Anyway, that's all I'll say about it.
Good game.
Good game.
Good fucking game.
Really good game.
That I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish. Anyways,
It's not long.
I know it's not.
What about Baldur's Gate? You get any Baldur's Gate time on your
Yeah, what's up
No.
with Baldur's Gate? Where are you in Baldur's
Not
Gate?
this year, baby. Not this year.
Not this year, maybe next year.
Did you make it to the city?
No.
You gotta finish Dragon Age Veilguard.
I'm in Act 2. I'm in Act 2 of Baldur's Gate 3.
Wow.
We're gonna
Dragon
have
Age
no,
is just better.
Brad.
Wow.
Nick, you're gonna have to call this episode the Bradquisition, because in between his processing
Idea.
and his
idea.
yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
The fucking Super Mario World is gonna have a Donkey Konga, like
in
bongo
Japan.
drums.
In
Ah,
Japan,
that's
yeah.
so
Bongo
sick.
drums? Oh god.
That's random, also. But thank you. That's a good. It's relevant and pretty
They're
cool.
definitely gonna put that at the Orlando one too, though, because they got that big ass fucking.
Wait, they don't have a
Donkey Kong.
They don't have a Super Mario World at Orlando. I know because I was just
They
there.
don't yet. Epic Universe is gonna have the Super Mario World when that.
That was
opens.
my one regret about going to the Orlando Universal Studios is that they didn't have I was like, I guess I'm still not gonna get to check out Super Mario World, but whatever.
That fucking minecart roller coaster looks so sick.
All right, before we wrap up with the 4-player minute, Fantasy Critic.
Do we have fancy critics?
There's been
I
some
think it's
stuff.
a wrap.
I'm done.
Really, I just need to figure out how y'all are gonna pay me, because
I mean,
rules
should
are
we-
rules, and
should we just? Do you want me to throw in the towel? Do you want us to throw it up the way, or do you want to see how it actually shakes out in the end?
we can see. I'm just saying, start saving, because
I did fill
I mean,
two of my
we
three
can throw it
slots.
out, but I mean, at this point, if that happens, then why even do Fantasy Critic? I mean,
Well, what's up with the second place award?
That's a conversation we're gonna have off. I don't even think we've decided for sure.
well, it was, from what I understand, it's going to be something of some value around the value of a video game. I think is what we had discussed potentially.
So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Well, What am I going to have to do? Is my problem.
Are you saying?
You might not be last, right? Oh, you'll be last. I think you already are last.
Thanks, Brad.
He just took us.
Thank you.
He just took
All
us
your
back
shit's
into-
out. All your shit's out.
No, I've got 2 games that are definitely coming out.
Oh yeah.
Three games that are definitely coming out.
Oh, what else do you have?
Monument Valley 3, Anton Blast, and Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah. You got games.
Yeah, I do.
Let me just
Yeah,
see.
I'm still going to come in last place.
That's not necessarily true.
That's not.
I mean-
I felt the same way last year, and I didn't end up in last place. So
Well,
just saying, anything.
well,
can
Nick,
happen.
Nick, if you want to repeat history and not fill in your last 2 slots and give me a little bit of hope,
I mean, at this
That happened
point,
last year. You didn't fill in your slots.
no. I had a full roster last year. This year, it's not looking too good for me. I bid on 3 things and got outbid on one of them, and I still have 2 empty slots.
2? Huh?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Which games? Let me know if you need a list of games to bid on.
I don't need your help, sir. I can do my own research.
Look, Brad, help me out here. Anton Blast, are you actually looking forward to that game? Does that game feel like an 85 plus to you? Just give me a little bit of hope here.
No, it doesn't feel like an 85 plus. I think if it hits 80, you should be happy. I mean, I think it's like safe indie if any indie's safe, and I don't think there are safe indies. Like that could so easily slip into the 70s, but I mean, it seems fine. It's just we're living in a post Pizza Tower world, and there's no fucking Pizza Tower. I played that demo. It's just kind of like samey foreground, background. I don't know. Seemed like it was okay. Yeah, I think your best bet is low 80s.
I ran
it's
out
big
of
enough
time.
that it should get enough reviews to actually chart. I mean, right now the biggest concern would be that y'all pick something up that isn't going to get the reviews, which is a very real. Nolan ran into that issue with some indie game that he picked up. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. All I said is I will be willing to completely step out of any sort of deliberations or decisions made about next year's run. So y'all can game the system. I don't want y'all to handicap me or anything, but I mean, I am willing to let y'all make all the decisions for next year's league.
Well, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that later. For now,
let's wrap things up with the 4-player minute.
Let's wrap it up with the 4-player minute. Brad, take it away.
So there was another big Brad game that came out while I was on leave of absence. The Monster Hunter Wilds beta, which I could have recorded a bunch of footage and talked for an hour about it, but you know.
But of course you didn't.
What's the point? Because the game's coming in February and it's going to take over my life, and oh my god, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But you know what? Wilds, Crispy, did you get a chance to play some Wilds?
Yeah.
Last week? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty cool. It was a little weird.
They shook things up a little bit with the weapons. Things are a little weird. The lance, I'm a lance boy. Gun lance, regular lance. Regular lance is kind of disappointing. Some of the directions they've made. Although you can
lance charges.
You can couch your lance wall mounted now, which is fucking cool. Everyone's been wanting to do that since World, and now they fucking just let you hold the button. I don't know how effective it's going to be. It'll probably eat through your sharpness, but I'm going to be chasing down motherfuckers while they're running, lancing them. But I'm a little disappointed with some of the mechanics. I will say, gun lance though, ooh, looking pretty crazy. I mean, there's no blast dash, at least not yet. But man, some of the changes they made are crazy. And one of the weirdest things is like, I did more shelling with that gun lance than I've done with any gun lance in the past couple of games, and the sharpness is like a non-issue, which famously the gun lance chews through sharpness super fast while shelling. They did something to where they made it like the opposite. I like barely had to sharpen during a fight with a gun lance, and I was just like, it's crazy, the new gun lance. So I can't wait. And the hammer, man. Oh, I'm a hammer bro as well. And in Rise, Sunbreak, they had a thing where you can use a wire bug to do like a little dash to like reposition, and you could just do that now with no wire bugs. You just have you just use your little fucking thing to do a little dash, and you can readjust as you do it. It's so fucking cool. Anyways, Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm just saving it for February because is Wilds a 90 plus? Dude, don't be stupid, Yeti. Of course it is. I think Wilds is, if you're a believer in Grand Theft Auto, obviously that's the top pick. I'm not so sure that's coming out next year, but Wilds is definitely like top 1, 2, 3 pick next year, like 1000%, maybe the top pick actually. I think it's gonna the numbers are gonna be crazy, and I think they're gonna score this game like it's going to get the.
It's gonna pull Tears of the Kingdom numbers, probably. I would imagine.
It's possible. It's possible. So, yeah.
All right, Crispy, why don't you go next?
Why?
Because fuck you. That's why. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know, man. I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah.
On top of
How's
Dragon
that going?
Age and Vampire Survivor, Castlevania.
Did you get to the first ending yet?
No. I think I'm on mission like 17 or something. I'm really procrastinating for some reason, and I'm kind of remembering that's what killed my playthrough last time. Was I think I'm weirded out by how the whole like quiet leaving the team thing works when she's like also the best buddy.
Well, yeah.
Like I'm
there's
trying
some
to
good
like
buddies in
level
the
up
game.
my relationship with her so that I can get the silent sniper rifle for her. But then it's like as soon as I get that and I get used to using it, she's gonna leave, and then like there's a way to prevent her from leaving, but then I was reading up on it and people are like, well, you shouldn't because the story is better if she does. I know. And then I realized just how tired and old I am. Old and tired.
That's
And
a concern.
I play Magic the Gathering online for a couple rounds and go to
Oh, no.
bed. But on top of that, I'm also rewatching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and that show's pretty good.
Pretty good. I didn't know that. I didn't know you liked
That
Star
show-
Trek.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't talk
kidding.
about it a lot.
I'm kidding.
DS9's all right.
All right, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. That show is goated.
I mean,
That show's
it's not
fucking
TNG,
goated.
but what is TNG?
Dude, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, TNG's amazing. It's incredible. It's great. But fucking Deep Space Nine's so good. I'm watching because the last season of Lower Decks is going on right now, and it's incredible. It's
Weekend in chat says Babylon 5's better. Is that true?
yeah, maybe if you're fucking stupid. Babylon 5 is the beef because Babylon 5 fans are always mad about the fact that CBS stole the idea for Babylon 5 for Deep Space Nine.
Winged, don't try to start shit with SG-1. SG-1, Stargate deserves its own little separate fun
Okay,
pantheon.
nerds.
You know what I just realized the other day was that fucking oh god, what's his face from the Blacklist?
Oh my god.
James
Help me,
Spader?
author. James
Yeah,
Spader.
Spader.
James Spader was the nerdy guy with glasses in the Stargate movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same dude
Yeah.
from the TV show. I
No.
didn't realize that was James Spader. That's
Yeah.
That's
Was he a sexual deviant in the Stargate universe?
Dude, I watched clips from it and it seems like he is.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's funny.
The fact that
Alright.
James Spader has never been canceled is like goaded.
I
Let's be
mean,
honest.
he's too powerful.
Too
Oh, I'll
powerful.
take that.
Should I watch The Blacklist?
I don't know.
It's a-
I guess
it's a
I-
decent show.
I think you would like it.
Oh,
Oh,
why do
no.
you manage to say things that...
There you go.
I think you
Every
with
time.
your bad, horrible taste would enjoy it.
It's-
Oh, all right.
I would say
It's-
it's a show that my dad would really enjoy, so I think it's a show you would really enjoy.
There it is
It's-
again.
It's
My
a
dad was
show
good too, so I love
that's
my father.
it's
what the
all
fuck,
about
man?
the villain of the week in this series. And if
Never
you're
loved a show with a villain of the week.
if you're one of those people that is like, oh, I'm happy to see this actor all of a sudden for some particular reason, that's what this show is. You just keep getting these B and C level actors that
Dude,
just come
I
out of
am
nowhere to
literally
be a villain for a
describing
week.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Half my personality is being obsessed with shows with villains of the week. Like I feel like that's
Then you
fairly
would have fun
accurate.
with the show.
Okay. Anyways, Chris Davis, it's your turn.
Uh,
Final thoughts.
my final thoughts. My closing date is in 3 weeks, motherfucker.
Oh shit! It's almost here.
Yeah, it's on. That means I'm moving into my house in 4 weeks. So It's happening. It's happening. Yes, I bought the mattress. Yes, suck my dick. I don't care.
But like,
Wow.
that's not an own. You didn't own us.
You owned
We're just
yourself.
concerned now about your
Hey.
financial decisions.
All I know is my back is going to feel very good in 20 years, and
We're gonna get weekly check-ins on that. I'm
sure. Yeah.
I hope you toss and turn all night, and that motherfucker. Fuck you.
man, we're being really.
You're not gonna be able to
aggressive
sleep because you're gonna be looking at your bank account, thinking about your bank account, tossing and turning all night.
Hey, Zlade top ramen can be pretty good. But like,
hey, come on, he didn't buy a peasant mattress.
oh yeah, but the stress of moving is starting to get to me. I'm packing a box a day, mentally mapping out of my head where I want furniture and all my gaming stuff to go, and having daily conversations with the builder about XYZ. But it's finally happening, and I can look forward to being in debt for hundreds of thousands of dollars very soon.
But you'll own it. So,
The bank will own it.
The bank owns
I
it.
mean, yes, you're right. But you're not. You're not throwing away as much money.
If you rent it from the bank for 20 years, then they'll give you the deed just in time to die.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. Okay.
Well,
That's depressing.
thanks for that, Crispy. All right.
That's super depressing.
Yeah. Nick,
Also,
bring us
20
home.
Well,
20
don't
years?
worry. It'll greatly offset the cost of your funeral.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
My final
Midlife crisis right now. Exactly what I need to hear. Thank you, Crispy.
Look.
You
No,
don't really
I'm,
hear about mattresses in the midlife crises though that often. I mean,
those
it's
get
usually
thrown
like
away.
a sports
Chris Davis-
car or
Chris Davis said, "Fuck the sports car. I better get a fancy mattress."
like a tanning bed or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna-
Just
Look.
I'm-
all right,
I-
my final thought this week. My final thought this week is it's been a rough week, and the one of the few things that I've been like thinking about and like that's been kind of getting me through it is like, okay, well, there's a lot of really for me. There's a lot of I feel like next year, 2025, is like my year in terms of like escapism. Right? There's just so many things that are Nick coded that are coming that I'm very excited about. Dude, 2 new seasons of Dexter. A new season of The Last of Us, new season of Daredevil. There's an Aliens TV show coming. New Mission Impossible. There's so many things that make my heart happy that are coming all within the next 12 months. That man, I don't know. That's what I'm choosing to be optimistic about. Not to mention just like the sheer number of like exciting games that are obviously coming next year that we're gonna play and talk about. So there is stuff to be excited about.
name one.
Name one game coming out next year.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, no, the game you care about.
Oh,
Boom. Mic drop.
a Japanese game? I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then on top of that, it's November, and I'm starting to get nervous about just because you know me. I love thinking about like what are my favorite games of the year, and there's a lot of stuff that I still want to find time for before the year is all said and done. And there's several several
Name one.
multiplayer games, strangely enough, that I really want to find time to play more of. Like Outlast Trials is a really cool game that I would love to find more time to play. It just means I'm gonna have to really get serious about setting up multiplayer nights, which again I really really want to do. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now, and that's my final thought. So I'll just leave it there. Crispy's making a face. I don't know what's going on. Thanks for listening, everybody. That's our show tonight, and we'll be back next week to talk about video games.
Video games
other
that
things.
Brad's not interested in, so he shuts the fuck up.
Yeah, maybe Brad's enthusiasm level will be back to normal levels next week. Although he will probably have played a fuck ton more of both Dragon Age and Castlevania.
Well,
Castlevania
I mean,
Vampire
I'm back
Survivors.
at work, and busy.
I'm deeply impressed by the amount of gaming you managed to get done, considering you are also a parent.
Yeah.
That's
You
very
know,
good.
you
That was
just
what was the amount of
wake up
gaming you
early, stay
squeezed.
up late. And,
The amount of
Yeah.
gaming you squeezed into a week off of work is what I had aimed for and fell
Well,
far short
it's
of.
actually been more like 2 weeks, honestly. The way I kind of
That's fair.
positioned it.
I don't understand
All
how
right.
you've been playing more than me.
I do have one more like full week off before the end of the year, but it's like literally the week before New Year's. So that's gonna be some super last minute.
Baldur's
Cramming.
Gate, woo!
Oh,
Baldur's
I'm-
Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
You do not love Baldur's Gate 3.
I do love Baldur's Gate. I do
No.
love Baldur's Gate. I just can't do it this year. There's
The
no
day
time.
after I close on my house, I'm taking the
Here's-
entire month off. So
Here's the reality.
This
Here's
is my
the
catch
reality, Brad. The only way I'm going to actually be able to get back into Baldur's Gate is if I force myself to do it at the beginning of the year when I'm not feeling the pressures of like the year we're closing in on the end of the year.
It never stops. January is gonna have to banger after banger after banger. Fucking January of this year had Prince of Persia, Yakuza.
Do you want me to not play
Tekken.
Monster Hunter Wilds
I
with
was
you
playing
instead and play Baldur's Gate 3?
Kingsvane.
Is that what you want? You want me-
You're gonna be wrapping up shit from this year. You know, trying to finish Metaphor, which by
Okay.
the way, you only got till December 31st. Bitch.
Do you want me to not play Monster Hunter Wilds with y'all just for the sake of me being able to go back into Baldur's Gate 3?
This is very similar to Dragon Age. I don't give a shit what you do with Monster Hunter. It's Monster Hunter, dude.
But
That's
a
like
co-op thing.
you understand. It's like, do you give a shit if I
That's a
watch Dexter or not? Obviously, I do not come factor into whether your plans for Dexter. You know what I mean? Oh, you're saying co-op? You're not a co-op boy. I get it.
I hate
I'm not a
you so
co-op
much.
boy either. Most of my Monster Hunter I play is solo.
Okay. All right. That's our show, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, of course, you can find us in Discord at discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you pop in, talk about games, introduce yourself in the introductions channel. We'd love to hear from you. You can find all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com as well as all of our, all the usual podcast services. Please subscribe, leave a review. We really appreciate it. And just guys, fucking be safe out there. Take care of each other. Play video games, all that stuff.
Stay
we'll
off
s-
social media.
Just stay off fucking shitty.
although
social
come to
media.
Blue Sky. Blue Sky is peaceful.
No,
and-
yeah.
No,
I'll-
that's
I don't
stress
say
too.
this-
Don't
I don't
just
say this
stay
very
on-
often.
Put down your phone.
If you're so inclined, and you're gonna be on something, if you want to follow me on Blue Sky. Fuck Twitter.
and come to our Discord.
Blue Sky. Dude,
What?
you just age out of it. You didn't need Blue Sky. You just say, you know what? I'm a grown up now. I don't need any of this. Who gives a shit?
Hey, this is not a conversation we're having right now. Anyways, we'll see you next week, guys. Good night.